what if I told you that Donald Trump just made the most pro-crypto move of his entire career that's massively beneficial for the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar's future, and he may not even have realized it, or he did, and he's playing 4D chess. Because while he just reignited the U.S. trade war with China, and then de-escalated it, and then re-escalated over cooking oil, it's probably de-escalated again by the time you're watching this, what's really happening here runs way deeper than what you're seeing at the surface. This isn't just a trade war anymore, it's a currency war. In the US, by going digital with blockchain, is going to win it. The money war is heating up, and crypto might be the biggest winner of all. See, the USA and China, they're not just competing over goods right now. They're competing over who controls the future of money itself, along with 10 other parallel battles about AI and all other stuff. But the money is the conversation of this video. One side's doubling down on open, decentralized systems like cryptocurrency, blockchain networks like Ethereum and Solana, and stablecoins. The other is building a tightly controlled, surveillance-driven system. You're going to be shocked when you hear the future of finance is heading, of course, in the direction of decentralization, not of tyranny. By the way, the EU is kind of on the China train, just gonna throw it out there. This video just got demonetized. Anyway, Trump relit the tariff fuse in typical fashion with a Truth Social post threatening 100% tariffs on Chinese imports effective on November 1st. Markets melted down, man. Tech names with Chinese exposure got butchered. Liquidity began to exit the system, but then came the pivot. Within days, Trump is already rolling back the tariff talk. It's all just a big misunderstanding. A lot of posturing going into the big meeting between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump in South Korea in about a week or two's time. It's a while back and forth. It's calculated chaos, man. Sure, there's the classic case of market manipulation, but it's much more than that. Trump knows these two things. China's economy is already under a lot of stress, with real estate markets continuing to implode as demographics shift massively. Youth unemployment is sky high and manufacturing has been slowing. More importantly, the US dollar is still the world's darling. Whether or not those tariffs land, they'll probably make some kind of deal. The signal is clear. The US wants to stress test China's control over capital flows, because who controls the trade controls the world. Who runs the monetary system, who has the reserve currency, can upset the flows and disrupt the monetary balance like that, which is exactly what Trump is doing. This isn't the checkmate move, though. It's the opening move. And crypto is the piece that nobody sees moving on the board. But Donald Trump has been behind it completely since the start of his administration. Open, permissionless systems like stablecoins and decentralized networks are quietly shifting the rails beneath the entire global financial system. Something that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent knows all too well, something that Larry Fink of BlackRock knows all too well. The biggest, most powerful people in America are getting on board, and they're pushing it hard. Even just threatening tariffs on China nudges capital to think, where can we move value that's safe and fast? This isn't just about punishing China, it's about forcing evolution in the system, speeding the transition from closed systems to open money, and extending the dominance globally of the dollar for decades to come. Open systems will win. Email killed the postal monopoly. TCP/IP killed telecoms. And stablecoins are now killing banks. This is a play for the entire future of the financial system, and America's winning. In the last 5 years, stablecoins basically went from 0 to 300 billion, but they're gonna go to trillions. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent says we're going to trillions. Trump thinks he's picking a fight, but he's moving pieces in a game where crypto is actually gonna be the ultimate checkmate. And here's where things get really, really interesting. But before we get into that, guys, if you're trading these cryptocurrency markets, here's a chance to get 3,000 bucks. Yes, $3,000. Listen up. Femex, OG cryptocurrency exchange, that dropped on the biggest limited time offer of the entire market right now. And it's for new users who sign up using the link right down here, and existing users, that might be you, who signed up using my Femex link before. Here's the deal. You deposit $10,000, they're giving you 3,000 bucks cash back. This is a wild offer. 5,000 bucks gets you 1,500. 3,000, 350. Seriously, who does that? That's crazy. Femex has been around for years. I've been trading with them for years. Deep liquidity, solid security, global access, meaning anyone, anywhere can use them. That's you. You might need a VPN in some cases. But here's the catch. You only have a few days left to act, so you better hop on this quick. Offer expires very soon. Hit the link down below, make your deposit, get your cash back. Go check it out. You'll thank yourself later. Okay, so here's the part where things get interesting. On one side, you have the USA slowly but surely embracing open systems. Stripe has integrated USDC, PayPal's launched PYUSD, Visa settles billions in stablecoin transactions already, BlackRock's tokenized treasury fund BUIDL has almost $3 billion in assets. Major banks are saying they're going to launch their own stablecoins. The future's already here, and it's being built in America. It's just not evenly distributed yet. On the other side, China's all in on the control state. Their digital yuan is programmable money with an off switch. CBDC terror money, which is what the EU also wants to do, which is a bad move for the euro, just as it's a bad move for the yuan. USA is going to win. Now, if you're China or you're someone who just loves surveillance and hates freedom, well, that's going to be fantastic for you. Again, we're totally going to video to monetize. Anyway, every transaction is tracked, traced, and tethered to state power. Please, government, can I use my money to buy something? That's the vibe, right? Now, pit these two ideologies against each other. What's always going to win? In the open versus closed, permissionless versus controlled, exit versus entrapment debate. You can't regulate math. You can't ban open protocols. No one's been able to stop Bitcoin. They're not going to be able to stop stablecoins either. Once people realize they can custody their own value and move it globally in seconds, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. More and more people are finding out about it every single day. Pandora has let chaos out of the box and it's not going back in. So when Trump rattles China, even unintentionally, he's amplifying the shift toward open decentralized finance, because when people lose faith in that fiat system, whether it's yuan, dollar, or euro, they look for an exit, and crypto is the exit. But it's also a crazy bid by the USA to take complete control of the global financial system by running everybody everywhere into the US dollar. They'll exit into the US dollar on chain. It's crazy. If China clamps down on USD access, Chinese investors will go to the USD stablecoins. They always do. Chinese companies and investors will need ways to move money. They're going to go to USDC, they're going to go to Tether, Athena stablecoin, whatever. You can ban exchanges, but you can't ban code. This is why China's been so paranoid about stablecoins, rightfully so, because it allows people to have freedom of financial movement, which they don't want. Here's the wild part. The US dollar already makes about 58% of global foreign exchange reserves as of the end of 2024, down from around 65% a decade ago. But every time anyone uses a USD stablecoin to trade, that's extending dollar dominance, just in digital blockchain form. Stablecoin issuers are now some of the biggest buyers of US debt. So the US needs more people globally to take on dollars so they can take on US debt and hold the US currency and supplant people like China and Russia and the BRICS group. That's the quiet truth. This is a vampire attack on literally every economy on the face of the earth, except those that embrace US dollar stablecoins. Because stablecoins don't just compete, they drain closed systems of power, liquidity, and control. The US doesn't even need to win the trade war if global trade runs on dollar-backed crypto rails, which is exactly where we're heading over the next few years. Trump's tariffs could actually accelerate worldwide adoption of digital US dollars. That's the real checkmate. Crushing China's leverage by making open rails the default. And to be clear, the BRICS group have talked about this, but they're way behind when it comes to what the Americans are doing. Every time Trump stirs up global tension, investors look for safety, and I mean real safety outside of the traditional system. They don't want to have their money in the bank, but they do trust money on chain. Tides are shifting already. Not everybody, but more people are waking up every day. And for the first time in history, people have the option. Pick up your phone, transfer stable coins. You can exit your national currency in minutes. You can send value globally in seconds. No banks, no intermediaries, no permission. And yes, this is Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's volatile. It's less volatile than it has been in the past, but it's still volatile. People want to send stable value in dollars, and that's what they're doing. That's not a trade spat at that level. This is essentially a monetary reawakening and the extension of the dominance of the US dollar for decades to come, and the payment of the US debt. When governments weaponize tariffs and central banks weaponize rates, people seek lifeboats, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins. These become the exits. Even gold on chain in seconds. Here's what most elites still don't get. This kind of geopolitical chaos doesn't kill crypto, it fuels it. The whole system is anti-fragile by design. The old system runs on trust and force. The new one runs on code and math. And the Americans saw this with the internet back in the 90s, and they're catching up to the crypto blockchain trend in the 2020s. So what happens next? Well, first expect capital flight from places like China and Russia, others that have intense capital controls on people's ability to move money. Wealthy individuals and corporations will look for lifeboats. They already use them, and they're going to continue to use them. It's going to become more prevalent as the market cap of all this stuff grows. Crypto becomes one of those ways. Second, regulators can't ignore stablecoins anymore. Most countries are passing some kind of stablecoin legislation. The US will have to keep advancing crypto policies to keep its advantage. That means big regulatory wins for companies like Circle, Coinbase, and even PayPal. Third, the world's splitting into two digital blocks. US-led open systems like USDC, PayPal, Visa, USDT, tokenized assets on chain, versus China's closed system, the digital yuan, controlled blockchains, CBDCs, which apparently is also the route that Europe seems to be preferring to go at the moment. Once money goes permissionless, everything else follows. Commerce, credit, coordination, and absolute financial dominance, and the extension of the global reserve currency potentially for another century. You can't close upper layers once the base layer is open. So own the rails, invest in the infrastructure, not just coins, but the protocols powering this shift. Watch the regulation. Every piece of pro-crypto legislation from here on out is bullish for adoption. Follow it, because this next era is not the USA versus China. It's open versus closed, code versus control, crypto versus the old world. And the new world is going to win. Technology always wins. Thanks for watching.